So just obviously we've come here to do a little bit of training. Just tell us who you are and what you're doing here.
So I'm Lindsay Phelps and I'm the head teacher of St Gabriels Catholic Primary School in Ormesby.
And what's brought you here?
To having you here, I think after hearing from a couple of my staff members who know you and sort of listening to your ideas about that positive mindset that, you know, not just my staff but my children need, it was something that really interested me because it's something that we think is really important here at St Gabriels.
And why do you adopt that? Because this is something you do off your own back, right?
Yeah, so every day the children come into school and they have that opportunity to engage in some mindfulness activity, and it just sets them in that can-do frame of mind. You know, we don't always know what's happened before children have come to school. It could be something simple as, you know, they haven't got something they wanted, or it could be that they've, you know, got up late so they're not in the right frame of mind for school. So it just gives us that opportunity to meet them at a really nice level and get them prepared, ready for the day, so actually purposeful learning can take place.
That's brilliant. And what benefits have you seen since you've been doing this?
So we give them the opportunity to do it over breakfast, so that's a really nice time as well to develop that skill of talking.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we don't all eat over a dinner table anymore.
Yeah.
So giving them that opportunity to talk to each other, and we see that the children are more ready to learn. So instead of setting them up with a quick 5 minutes of doing rapid multiplication or spellings, which they might not be in the mindset for when they come in, they can do something that they can achieve, and it sets them up for the day, so they have that positive outlook on, you know, the rest of the day.
No, that's really good. And why do you do this? What's the drive? Why are you implementing this into your school?
Because I think learning is about learning about yourself as well, and until you understand you and you understand your mind and how it works, and understand how to be happy and how to be positive and what you're good at, you can't progress forward. We want really independent and resilient learners here at St Gabriels, and I want it from my staff as well. You know, just the last week I set up a little activity in the staff room on the Monday, so they all had to pick a name and write something positive about that person and just leave it somewhere for them to find it, so they didn't know who had written that lovely thing about them.
Yeah.
And it's that lovely little pick-me-up that staff appreciate and staff engage in.
Yeah, and I've heard you've got a unique way with your staff members where you try not to micromanage, you try to empower people. Tell me a little bit about that.
To me, a good leader doesn't tell people what to do. They help people find the right path. And I think since coming here, what happens now is if there's a problem, my staff come to me with it, but with the answer as well. I think it's really important that my staff are themselves and that they feel valued and that they feel appreciated. I buy Treat Friday every Friday, so they get something in the staff room every Friday as just for me to say I appreciate them. But their confidence has grown, and I always say, you know, I became a head teacher not because I wanted to be this amazing leader, because I taught because I was good in front of 30 children and made a difference. Now I make a difference to 250 because I make sure all my staff teach at that same level, but as them. Because if I try and make them me and teach like me, they're going to fail. They're professional and I trust them, and that's what they should be like.
Yeah, and that's what obviously, excuse me, what I try to do with the children there is getting them to work on their own strengths rather than comparing themselves to other people. It's just looking at what's your individual strength, which was a great exercise which we obviously done. What sort of benefits do you think the children get from things like that, from being able to identify what their strengths are?
I think it's really important to have that conversation, not just with us as staff as well. I think that's a big thing, actually having someone else come in and deliver that same message. Because I think as soon as they start hearing that other people appreciate what they're good at, they start believing in it themselves. And I think then is when they start putting it into action and start using it. We had the Young Americans before Christmas, before half term, and what they did for self-confidence and self-belief in the children was amazing, and that we couldn't achieve as teachers.
Yeah.
We need these people like you, like them, to come in and work with children and really instill that confidence in them.
Good, and obviously now we're going to go do some work with the teachers as well. What are you hoping to achieve from this?
I want my teachers to realise how good they are. I think something I like to do is tell them quite often how good they are, because I think it's very easy to be criticised all the time, but actually being told you've done something really well doesn't often happen. And if I don't do that, they won't believe it in themselves. So I think you getting them to think about their mindset, and then in the future me following it up with that positive reinforcement, hopefully a happy staff and a really positive and resilient staff to do the best for the children.
No, that's brilliant. Well, there's a saying, isn't there, that praise to a person is like helium to a balloon.
Nice.
And I believe that,
definitely.
So let's go and do a bit of work with the teachers, and we'll maybe just do a few more questions after that.
Lovely, brilliant.
And depending on what you believe about yourself will be how susceptible you are to other beliefs. Now this goes round in a full circle.
I think the biggest thing I've learned from today was people's perception of themselves. Maybe it's not as high as I thought it would be. And really something I'd take away would be how we can support those people who are maybe a bit self-doubting of themselves.
I think that the more belief we have in our children, the more belief they're going to have in themselves. We already do believe in them like a lot, but I don't think we realise just how much we do. Once we do realise that, the results that come from them is going to be amazing.
I think it's making sure that we communicate to them that we believe in them, because we all know that we do, and we all talk about them in really high regard, but it's doing that in front of them so that they know that that's how we feel about them, that's what we think about them, to sort of build that self-esteem and that self-image.
And I think I need to continue doing that with my staff as well, because I do think a lot about them, and I know how brilliant they are, and I will be very vocal to other people about how brilliant they are, but maybe I need to really make sure that they all know what I think and how well I think they do in the school. This session has made me reflect on me as well as a leader, and that actually sometimes I doubt myself about what I do and the choices that I make, and you know, the choices I make affect all of the children, it affects families, it affects my staff, and I think the training today has really made me see that actually the belief in myself will then resonate with everybody else, and that, you know, the things I decide come from a good place, and they come from what I believe is the right choice for the children and for my staff. So I need that to come across in everything that I do.
I think in terms of value for the skills, it's always important to sort of take time, we are incredibly busy, to take time to think about where we're at and how we can move that forward, not just for us but for the children as well. And it's given us that chance to sit down as a team and really think about what our strengths are, what we're doing well at the moment, but also how we can make things better.
It was seeing the kids' faces today in the hall, when they realised, some of the children who didn't think that they had any strengths, when they realised that actually all of their friends around them could point out different things that they had they thought that was their strengths. The faces just lit up, like as if to say, I didn't know that. And like, it made me dead emotional.
I think for me it'd be realising again that it's good to talk, and that time that we spend speaking to each other and the kids we work with is beneficial, because we can open up about things we wouldn't normally talk about during the day, because we get so engrossed in everything we try and do in our profession and in our lives as well.